Yo, 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 what's up, guys? It's Alex Rome, and today I'm going to show you how I'm going to give you like a little bit of a masterclass on layering. Layering is a topic I've been discussing with a couple of my students lately. It is a lot to handle for a beginner just getting into this genre, especially in EDM, because layering is pretty much everything. It is everything. It's how you get creative. It's how you get your own sound to come out a lot of the times. It's how you stay in genre a lot of the times, and it's everything. It really is. So in this video, I'm going to try to explain as much as I can, but what we're mostly going to focus on is how you can put together a bunch of layers like this and get as close to a full sound as possible, a full unique genred sound as possible. So I remade the melody from High on Life because it seems to be a song of interest with my students lately. So we're going to do a little bit of a layering masterclass. I'm going to play this through, and then I'm going to tank it all and rebuild it from scratch and take you through my process of layering. So let's get to it and do it. Alright, so it's a little crushed actually. It's like not as clean as I would have liked it to sound, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna remake it. So that's what we're basically gonna do. I'm gonna show you how you can layer big room synths to sound really, really fat and big, and layer other things like guitars to sound really cool and unique. So let's get to it. I'll tank everything here. Just get rid of everything all the way up. I did drone in there too, but I don't know if I'm going to make the drone. That's not really one of my worries. And as far as the bass goes, I never feel like making bass again. So we can get rid of that. I'm going to keep just our effects here. Like that, just to keep some noise. If I actually mix this, it would probably sound a lot cleaner. Oh, it would sound a lot cleaner. But I'm going to keep this. So something I want to talk about first with layering is if you're looking for that big, thick sound, your layer is going to need to start at the base and then work all the way up through the highest possible frequencies. And if you really want the biggest possible sound, then you're going to have to layer rhythmically. So what I mean by layer rhythmically is what you just heard. So basically what you just heard. Oh, you know what? I gotta actually get all those back because I don't feel like making the chords again. So I have to get those chords back. But anyway, when you're layering rhythmically, what you're doing is you're following the exact rhythm of whatever your power instruments are. So in this case, the bass and the chords are in triplets. So everything I do from the bass all the way through the high frequencies is going to be layered rhythmically on triplets. That's why my bass line was going dun na 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 na. So like that. If my bass is like flat and sustained, then you're not going to get the power that layering rhythmically is going to give you. So I mean, you could layer your bass like that. You can make a bass that's not in triplets, but it's not going to give you the power that a triplet bass line is going to give you if your chords are triplets. Now, let's get to it. So I'm going to put these aside. I'm just going to mute these. And I'm going to mute those. And I'm going to mute pretty much everything. No, we can get rid of this. Get rid of that. Let's tank these two. Get rid of those. And we're gonna remake everything for you guys. I got this heater on. I'm sweating. Let's get rid of the music box and guitar number 1. So when you're layering, there's a lot of things you could be going for with layering. And I always tell people to layer with a purpose. Don't just aimlessly throw layers on there because you're bored of the sound you have and you want like a different sound or a bigger sound and stuff, something like that. A lot of my students, I'll notice they have like 16 layers of a synth or something that they learned from Martin Garrix in the studio video, but they have no idea why they have all these layers. And you need a reason to layer all those layers. You don't just throw them on top of each other. So when you're layering a sound, you're looking at its percussiveness, you're looking at the duration of the sound, you're looking at the thickness of the sound, and you're saying, what is the reason I'm putting this layer on? Is it because you want a unique sound? Is it because you want your sound to sound more like your genre? Or do you want a longer sound? Or do you want a wider sound? Or a skinnier sound? Or a drier sound? Or a wetter sound? So you really got to like weigh those options out. Like, why are you layering? So here's what we're going to do. We have a guitar sound here. And I want to layer it with something that with a little bit more movement that can give it that unique touch. Now, if I don't get that movement, then I'm not going to be sad. But I want something with that unique touch. So let's go ahead. We have another layer of this sound. Sounds exactly the same, but I'm going to get a different sound. I'm not going to layer it with the same thing because it doesn't really do anything for you. Unless you have a super stereo super saw or something that'll make a thicker sound. So I got guitar rig here and I'm basically running a Nexus 2 preset that sounds like this. And this is a guitar amp, so it's going to take that acoustic guitar and make it sound electric. Oh, that's cool. That's beautiful, but it's a little, sounds like a little wet. Is that the same? I feel like that's like almost the same sound. It is, it's like too close for me, so I'm gonna just go with a different sound. I feel like this would make a really nice layer. This one sounds a little bit old rock, but I don't want to spend too much time on layering it. Right now it sounds good, but I could always go back and fix that up later. So as for my synth options, we're going to start from scratch for you guys because I don't want to like spend too much time on other things. So let's go ahead with a big room synth sound. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the explosion into the big synths. So the way High on Life breaks down is it's a 128 BPM song, and that song is built in series of 8 bars. So every 8 bars something happens. So when we get to the small synth area right here, which is kind of like the synth chorus 1, we bust open into synth chorus 2 where the big room synths come in and all the loudness and the party happens. So let's get to it. So I'm going to start from scratch for you guys. I'm not going to make a, I don't feel like doing any sound design because it takes too much time. And I can get a better big room synth if I just use a preset. So I'm going to use as for a big room synth, you can really get them anywhere, and any preset pack for Serum or Sylenth will have them. So the availability of big room synths to you is probably good. There's a good chance you'll get it, so that's why I'm using Nexus 2 to get this sound that I like. The hands up expansion for Nexus 2 is the best super saws I ever found. So I'm just gonna use these. Because I want something like that. Like, I can't make a super saw that sounds that nice. So I'm totally gonna use a preset, and it's okay for you to use presets. For anybody wondering if it's okay to use presets, hell yeah, it's okay. All your favorite artists use all presets. So we have a layer here, and I'm just going to double that layer up with itself. So I'm going to double it up with the same thing. When you double up big room synths, you don't need to change the sound of the big room synth to get a thicker sound because they're so messy and stereo. And the unison is all bunched up anyway. It's all over the place, that you do get a thicker sound because you get the benefit of layering the voices. I'm going to turn OTT off for layer number 2 though, because I want one of these sounds to be a little weaker, and I want one to be stronger, so then when you mix them together, you get a nice parallel, kind of like a parallel compression sound. So you get that like crazy sound. Now that to me sounds like a little harsh, but I'm not really worried about getting that spot on right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. We can worry about really fine-tuning later, but right now we're worried about layering. So let's go ahead and recap our layers. We have our guitars, and then we have the same exact notes, which are these notes right here, which is our lead, and then our bass line, doing the same exact thing as our guitars. So together, you could hear the guitars. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a full chord layer like this, and I'm first going to layer in pianos. So in the original version of the song, I actually hear the warmth of the piano very, very like in your face and good. It sounds like really nice. So I'm definitely going to have my layer of a strong piano. The Logic stock pianos aren't strong enough for me, so I like to use pianos like this, or True Pianos is a nice free piano plugin that gives a pretty decent piano, but this is my favorite piano of all time because you make it really, really strong. So watch this. Let's go ahead and look at my chords for a second just so you guys can see the notes here. They look like this, and they're in triplets. Like that. And you can see it's only 3 little marks in length because these notes are in triplets. These chords are in triplets. So if I go ahead and jack up the hardness on the Giant, I'm going to try to get that layered nicely, coupled nicely with these. These like are sounding a little too harsh right now, but it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna push up the high frequencies. I learned that from a Cashmere video. He likes to really focus on the high frequencies and mix downward from there. So I'm gonna basically duplicate, well, not basically, I'm duplicating this layer here because I'm gonna get a heavier synth. Now if I look at this right here, it's very high frequency to high pitched. There's not much body to it. So my purpose here for layering that synth is going to be a heavier body. So I'm going to still get a super saw, but it's going to be a heavier one, like one that's more dense down in this area down here. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, for supersaws, I like Nexus too. So I'm not just gonna not use it. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it and get this other little synth called the Energy. Listen to that. Listen to that power. I love that. So what I'm doing with these knobs is I'm trying to build the percussiveness of the synth up. Like if I have this all the way, the decay all the way up, the synth is too sustained and there's no punch. Listen. It's like you don't even hear. All it sounds like is a block of white noise. So when I do this, I'm actually building it into more of a pluck. So listen really closely. So coupled with this, listen to this sound now. That is just some fatness right there. I love that so much. So together, when you bring all your synths together, you're gonna take a sound that you want to focus on. So let's just take this piano. Whoops. So now we have somewhat of a dirty mix of what our layer sequence is going to sound like. So now we could take our bass line, and I want to recap this bass line. So wait, hold on. Before I do the bass line, I do want to recap everything. We have our pianos because of the warmth. That's going to be our warm layer. The layer we could actually hear in the midsection. And then we have our high frequency supersaws, which are obviously going to take care of the high frequencies. And then we have our low frequency body supersaws. And then we have another high frequency layer of these, which I don't really, not really too much of a fan of. So let's take that, soften it up a little bit. And then we have our character right here. This is what the entire idea of this track is, or what I think the track is about, is these guitars, because they sound so pretty. So now together. And then you put your mix time into it, and then you'll get like a better balance and play around until it sounds like ultra perfect. But I want to go in here and show you how I got this bass. So this bass line is in triplets right here. So it's the same rhythm as the chords, which obviously sound like this. So you hear how it's like you hear the rhythm with the chords. Bass line's the same exact thing. So what this bass line basically is kind of like an 808. The only oscillator firing off is a sub oscillator, and we're doing a little bit of soft clip distortion just to get that 200 hertz range strong. And so there you go. That is a group of layers, and hopefully this inspires you now and taught you something to go ahead and layer some section of your track and make a really dope track out of that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, comment your thoughts, subscribe to my channel. I love you. Peace out.